Hi everyone, welcome to the latest edition of Pro Wrestling Defined. I'm your host, Jonathan O'Dwyer, and please remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep up with all future content. And great guest on the show today, Chilean wrestling superstar, Pedro Pablo. How are you doing today, my friend?
I am very excited to stay here. Thank you for the invitation. And I talk about my career in South America. Maybe more persons know my job. And this is a good opportunity to show my wrestling career to expand to the world. Sorry, I am a little nervous. My English is not very good, but I think we can do something okay.
It's all good, man. Your English sounds good to me. How's life with yourself now with the last year with the pandemic and everything? How's everything been in Chile?
Here in Chile, pandemic hits very hard to pro wrestling world because all the companies now make more shows. Here in Chile, in this moment, wrestling is little dead. No shows, no schools, nothing. To me, it's very hard because in 2019. I go to America in my first tour in United States, and I have plans to come back this year. But for the pandemic and all of this, I don't can make this trip. And I hope now in August or maybe September can go and try to find an opportunity in the United States.
Definitely, hopefully now that'll happen, and so we'll get into your background. Talk about where your love of pro wrestling started. Were you a fan growing up? How did the love of pro wrestling come about?
Okay, yes. When I see wrestling for the first time, I am a kid, very little. I think I have 5 years or 4, very very kid, and I see wrestling in television in the first time, and I say to my father, I need to make this. I love wrestling, and in the first moment I see, I know that is my destiny to be a pro wrestler.
Definitely. And who were some of your favorites when you were growing up?
The Rock. The Rock is
Wow.
my favorite of all time. When I am a kid, I see The Rock and I see my hero. I see the people champ, and I love it. The charisma, the promo, the show. Wrestling to me is very important. The sport ability but to me the show is that I like the show, the promos, the microphone charisma. I love that. And The Rock, to me, is one of the best of all times.
Definitely, I was a huge Rock fan when I was a kid as well. He was one of my top favorites, kind of around 99, 2000. I was a huge fan of his as well. So you picked a really good one. So talk about when you started kind of breaking into becoming a wrestler yourself. How did that come about?
Okay, look, in Chile, wrestling is very, how I explain, it's not a big sport. Here in Chile, it's very amateur, maybe. Chile has very good wrestlers, but not all the people know that. It's very, Chilean wrestling need to show more. But in that moment, I don't know in Chile exist wrestling schools. To me, that doesn't exist. But when I have 17, my father come to my house and say to me, I know a one guy, he practice wrestling. I tell, what? In Chile exists wrestling? And my father say, yes, exists. Maybe I can present you that guy. And I say to my father, yes, please. I go to talk with this guy, and this guy tell to me, here in Chile exists wrestling, exists one academy, one school of wrestling. And I say to that guy, please, I need to go. And in that moment, I start my career very casualty, but in that moment, I start to train all the weeks. And when I have maybe 6 months training, the company give me the opportunity to make my debut, my wrestling debut.
Wow. And so how did you take to it at the start? Was it harder than you thought it would be? How did you take to it from like the bumps and taking the ropes and all the kind of mechanics that come with wrestling? Was it tougher than what you thought it would be at the start?
When I start, I am no practice sports. I am little fat, no condition. To me, is hard, but I love wrestling from all my life, and I am a little crazy. Uh, and to me, it's no very difficult because I make backyard wrestling in a school, with friends all of my life. I have a lot of no injuries, but I am all the days in the school. I bump and I am a little idiot. And that helped to me when I start training, because the pain and that kind of things is not very hard to me, because I make that all my life.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's good. And it's funny. Like a lot of the greats break in that way. They start off. I remember CM Punk as well. Like he started off doing backyard wrestling type stuff.
Hardy
And
Boys.
Hardy Boys. I was just about to say Hardy Boys as well. Yeah. So there's definitely something there. It kind of prepares you for the real thing, like, doesn't it?
Yes, in the school with the friends, you always say, "Hey, come on, make me a choke slam." And the guy, "What? Yes, make me a choke slam." And I bump very. It's dangerous. I know that. But when you are kid and you love wrestling, you make that kind of tips. But if one kid see this interview, please don't make this in your house.
Yeah. Don't try this at home.
Don't try.
So, and you from the footage I've watched of your work, you have quite a physical wrestling style as well. Talk about some of, like you talked about The Rock as well being one of your favorites growing up, but talk about some of the wrestlers that you've studied as a wrestler yourself that were influences on your actual in-ring wrestling style.
Yes. Look, in my career, a big part of my career, I make like a billion, like a hill, and I study a lot. For example, JBL, I like a lot. Eddie
Wow.
Guerrero, when he makes the turn, when he attacks Rey Mysterio, I
Ooh,
study a lot. Chris
yeah.
Jericho. I try to take a lot of take something of a lot of wrestlers. No copy, no, never copy, but try to learn. For example, I study a lot when Eddie Guerrero see the camera or interacts with the crowd. That kind of things, I love it. With you, when you are heel, I think you need to connect with the people. You need to make the people hate you, and I try to study that kind of things. But for example, in wrestling style, I love Kurt Angle, because Kurt Angle can make a lot of things. He's strong, he has agility, he has charisma. I think I try to be a complete wrestler. Maybe not the most technical, maybe not the more stronger, maybe not the most faster, but try to a little of all,
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely, and yeah, that's the best way I think to go about it. I mean, you have to have a bit of all of those areas covered, and all the greatest, like you mentioned, great names there, like Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle. I think Shawn Michaels would be up there as
Yes.
well as another guy that just has it all. And yeah, that definitely shows in your in-ring style and bringing that charisma and that connection with the crowd. You're definitely right on all of that. So, talk about your journey so far as a wrestler. I know, like you mentioned earlier, you did that tour of America a couple of years ago. I know you wrestled for Combat Zone Wrestling
Yes.
over there, and talk about that experience and some of your other favorite places that you've worked so far.
Okay, when I come to United States, is the first tour I made. I choose United States because in a future I want to stay in a All Elite or WWE, Ring of Honor, or Impact. I want to have a contract with one of that companies, and I always see indie wrestling. I love a lot. For example, I am a big fan of CZW, Ring of Honor. From a lot of years, I like that style of indie. And when I in Chile, I have 10 years of experience, but I never go to other country to make wrestling. And I take the decision to prove to me that I can, and try to the big eyes put attention on me, because I say in the beginning of the interview, in Chile, wrestling is not very, not a lot of people know. And maybe if I stay in Chile, never a big company see my job or my work. For that reason, I go to America, because I think if I make a good job in the indies, maybe or probably Impact or WWE or another company see that and maybe put attention on me. For example, in the United States, I have a match with Brian Pillman Jr., a triple threat. I have the opportunity to work with him, with Jordan Oliver of MLW. I have two single match, Bear Country, Ophidian, Serpentico of All Elite. I have the opportunity to work and know a lot of persons of the big companies.
Definitely. And you mentioned working with Brian Pillman there. What was that experience like? How was he to work with?
I always see when I see the card, when the promoter say, okay, that is your match, I prepare myself, my mind, to say, okay, you in this moment, no nervous. You don't need nervous. You are good. I think I am good. I have that. How I explain, I believe in myself. I believe in myself, and I say, okay, this is a big opportunity. This man, in that moment, he's not in All Elite, but I know he has a good name, good career, and I try to be the more professional I can. And I think we have it's a not very long match, maybe 5 minutes. But in that 5 minutes, I think we make a good job. And he, after the match, he give me the hand and say, wow, good job. I don't know in Chile wrestling is that level. And to me, that is very nice, because he is a superstar of All Elite and he likes to work with me.
That's awesome.
But it's a good opportunity. That is a good opportunity.
Absolutely. I mean, the Pillman name is so synonymous with wrestling from Brian Pillman back in the WWF and WCW. So yeah, that was definitely a huge opportunity. Talk about some of your other favorite guys that you've worked with through the years.
Okay, in my country, I have matches with the best. For example, Alejandro Saez. He's the Chilean guy to participate in WWE Cruiserweight tournament. I have some matches with him. With another good guy is Límite, but in the United States, I have the chance to work, for example, with DJ Hyde. He's the owner of CZW. He's very strong. Very. Yes, the kick in the back, I remember a lot. For example, Jordan Oliver, I make a good, very close friend of him. Jordan helps me a lot. How I explain, I live in the house of Jordan. He give me, in the first month, I know him in CCW. We talk about wrestling. He's a young guy with a lot of passion. I think I have a lot of passion. Wrestling is my life, and we connect with that. Jordan see my passion, and he say, I want to help you. I want, if you need, my house is your house, and we made a very close friend. Very, we are friends. We talk in Instagram, and I hope can go back to America and have another match with him.
Awesome. And talk about some of the other places you've worked. You worked in Mexico at one point as well, didn't you? For CNL, I think it was.
Yes. In Chile, I work in CNL, in Cinco Luchas Clandestino, in GLL, CLL are companies of my country, and in United States, I work in Warriors of Wrestling, in Bizarro Lucha, in CZW, Hardcore Hustle. I work in 18 indie companies in United States.
Awesome. And talk about some of, like you were just talking about him there a minute ago, talk about some of the people that have been influences on your career that you've worked with, either in the ring or behind the scenes. Who's really kind of helped you in your career so far?
Okay, I think my big support are my family. I think that support helped me a lot to continue with this dream. They always trust in me, always give me the energy to continue. In Chile, for example, my friends, my girlfriend helps me a lot. All the people that know me know I love wrestling. Is my passion, and all the people try to always say to me, "You can do it. Go." And I think my family and my girlfriend are the principals. But for example, in Chile, my other wrestler friends is a big supporter too. For example, in my tour in United States, I go with a friend. I go with a Chilean friend. He's wrestler too. His name is Alessandro, and we travel together. Because I think to my first tour, I need a partner. And Alessandro tell to me I want to go, and we go, and we win the Warriors of Wrestling Tag Team Champions.
Awesome. And some of the matches that you've seen as a spectator that have been an influence on your wrestling style. Some of the matches that you've studied that have really made a big impact on you.
Okay, yes, when I see wrestling, I am very open to see a lot of different styles. For example, I watch the WWE pay-per-views, now All Elite pay-per-views, but I love, for example, a strong style of New Japan. That is a kind of a style I like a lot. If you see my matches, I always try to make that hard hittings, the intense, the spot. For example, all my life I see indies, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, Ring of Honor, and I try to make a combination of the New Japan in ring styles, but WWE or All Elite show. When I see wrestling, for example, when I see New Japan, inspire a lot to me, that combinations, that strong style. But when I see WWE, the promos or the charisma of the guys, the towns, that kind of tip, I try to combine to the two words, more wrestling and more show, made to absorb. For example, what matches I like? I like a lot Shingo Takagi versus Will Ospreay in this year.
Yeah.
But for example, I like too The Rock versus Stone Cold. Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar in WrestleMania, Jericho versus Shawn Michaels. For example, in Ring of Honor, have one match of Jay Lethal versus Roderick Strong. I love it. I don't remember, maybe 2 years ago or more, I don't remember, but that matches I try to always study, try to see try to learn.
Definitely great choices. And talk about some of the guys that you're really looking forward to working with someday. Who are the guys that are on the bucket list for you to wrestle someday?
Oof. I have a lot. But for example, in my list, I want to have a match in a future. Maybe I don't know for the time because he's little older. Maybe I don't know if I can make this, but I think the dream match I want is AJ Styles. AJ Styles, I think
Wow,
is one of the best wrestlers of all time. He is a
definitely.
complete, and I
Yeah.
want to have a match with him. Maybe Will Ospreay, maybe Chingo Takagi. In the indie circuit, who I want to Andrade. If we can have a match, I love to. I don't have one list, but I want to. I have a lot of wrestlers. Maybe all of the rosters of big companies. I want to stay in the ring one time. But if I need choose one dream match, is AJ Styles.
Awesome. Yeah, he's probably him and AJ Styles, Moose, and Bobby Lashley and Roman Reigns. They'd be and Apollo actually as well. They'd be my favorite wrestlers from nowadays. Yeah. So like AJ, yeah, he's absolutely definitely one of the best of all time. So that would be absolutely awesome. And I think your styles would work. Pardon the pun, but your styles would mesh really well together as well. From the work of yours that I've seen, I think it would make for an awesome match for sure.
Yes. I want one day can make that match possible.
Yeah, definitely. That would be awesome. One thing that stuck out to me in your work as well, like you have a pretty fearless style as well. There was one move that just made me go like, oh man, that's that's tough. You do a backwards or a reverse go to sleep as one of your finishers. That was really cool. Was that kind of inspired by CM Punk?
Yes. I try to always make my moves. Don't copy to another wrestlers. I try to special moves. For example, all my career, I made one of my signatures is the Death Valley Driver, very similar to Velvet in Dream. But I start to make that move 10 years ago, but now Velvet in making NXT, and he's more famous, and all the people say, oh, that movie is from Velvet in Dream. But I think that that kind of things in wrestling is very common.
Yeah.
But I try to make all my moves with my style. For example, try
Yes.
to make something different, little put my mark in that move. For example, my character moves are my finisher is a special, Dragon Gate, the company of
Yes.
Japan. Yamato is
Yeah.
one of the wrestlers of Dragon Gate. When I think in my finisher, I see the finisher of Yamato. His name of the finisher is Galeria, and I try to make similar but not the same.
Yeah.
My legs are different in different angle, and that is my finisher. It's very similar to Yamato because I inspire my finisher in his finisher, but I don't copy. I made some variation, little variation to give my touch, give my special mark.
Definitely, that's the best way to do it. And talk about some of the moments in your career so far that you're most proud of. Some of your proudest moments in your career so far.
Okay, here in Chile, I win a lot of champions. I am 18 times champion in my country. In maybe all the
Wow.
companies, I am be a champion. But I think my favorite moment is the travel to United States, because in that travel I start to think different. I think it's a reborn in my career, because in that travel I trust more in myself. I say you can make something big, because in Chile I am one of the maybe top guys of the country, but and the level in South America is very good, But when you go
Yes.
to United States, it's different. In United States, it's more professional. In United States, have more people see your job. Maybe, for example, I in one of the shows I go, Nigel McGuinness of Ring of Honor and NXT UK, he is in the show. Here, meet and greet,
Wow.
singing. But to me, share with Nigel is a good opportunity because maybe Nigel see the matches. In Chile, doesn't exist that in your show are no agents of WWE or other companies, but in the United States, probably or maybe when you are wrestling, probably in the crown are one guy of WWE or Impact or another, some agent see that match. And that to me is very, I know, maybe a challenge to me to prove myself that I can
Yes.
stay in United States, to prove myself to maybe I can to stay in a big company, to prove myself to can I have good matches with big names. I think that is my proud. That travel changed my mind. I need practice more
Awesome.
English.
Um,
When I have that travel,
it's good,
I
man. It,
yes, yes, but
it's really good as it is. But yeah, definitely.
yes, but when I go to that travel, when I come back to Chile, I start in Duolingo, that app of cell phone, and I practice every day. All the days I practice a half an hour, and I know my English is not the best, but I still practice. For example, in if you made me this interview 1 year ago, I don't can, but now I think I can.
Yeah, it's been really good. Like, yeah, no, your English is really good. So I mean, there's even prominent Mexican wrestlers whose English isn't as good as yours. I mean, this interview has flown by, so no, it's really good, man. So what you're doing, definitely keep at it because it's definitely working.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
No problem. But I was going to ask as well, what would, if you were speaking to people that haven't heard of you, or making a pitch towards companies that you haven't worked with, what would you want them to know about you specifically? What would you say to them about who you are and your career so far?
I think if one people don't know me in this interview or in my career, I only tell to that people, give me one opportunity, give me one chance. Go to YouTube, search one of my matches. I think I have my special strong. I think is the charisma. I think I have a different charisma. I can connect with the crowd with different way that another wrestlers. I have something when I am heel. I am not the typical heel, maybe more caricature. When the people see me, the people hate me, but real. I think I have one charisma very different. I think that is my the best thing I have. My with that, I think I can difference of other wrestlers. Is my I don't know who explain, but I think if one guy or see that interview want to know my job, go to YouTube and search Pedro Pablo Luchador. Pedro Pablo Luchador. That is my YouTube channel. In that channel, I have matches of my career, and give me one chance. I think you like. I think you like.
Definitely, and I'd recommend anybody going there as well. I mean, your style is really hard hitting, and you can tell how passionate you are about the business, and the work you've put in. Like, you're a really hardworking wrestler, so definitely check out Pedro Pablo Luchador on YouTube. And what are your social medias as well? Tell them where to find you on social media.
Yes, I use a lot. Instagram is the most active social media I use. My Instagram is PPS Wrestling. In that Instagram, you can contact me. I try to always read all the message. I am. That is my social. I have Twitter, but I use very. I don't use a lot, but Instagram is the way to contact me. I think that is the best place to contact me.
Cool. And I'll put the link for that in the description of the video as well. And so just before we wrap up, I'll just ask you some kind of random quick fire questions, just to let people get to know you a bit more. So favorite match that you've watched as a spectator, as a fan?
But in live or in, for example, in television?
In television, growing up as a fan, watching on TV, what was your favorite match growing up?
Oh, choose one is very difficult, but I think maybe for special to me is Stone Cold versus The Rock in WrestleMania 17.
Great match.
Yes, or maybe Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar in WrestleMania 19. One of that.
Yeah, they're both awesome. I actually love the Kurt Angle Brock Lesnar Iron Man match. Do you remember that one from SmackDown that same year? That was awesome as well. I love.
You know what match I love it, and I think it's a little underrated match. Kurt Angle versus Undertaker in No Way Out.
Ooh,
that match is awesome.
That's so good. I love that one. Well, it's one of my favorites Kurt Angle matches.
Yes,
that's absolutely amazing. I love that one. But favorite match of your career, if you can pick one.
Look, I have two. One of that is my match in Chile versus Chuck Falcon. He's another Chilean wrestler in my YouTube channel. Maybe you can find. And I love a lot my first match with Jordan Oliver in the United States in the Dojo Wars. Dojo Wars are little shows of CZW, and I have one match for his title. He, in that moment, are the Wired champion, and I have a match versus him. Two matches. The first one I like. I like a lot. The second is good too, but I prefer the first one. In YouTube too. Pedro Pablo versus Jordan Oliver, if you want to see.
Definitely check that out. Favorite movie?
Rocky Balboa.
Oh, really? Which one? The
no,
one?
but the all the saga. But to me, the first one is the best. The first and the fourth. But I love all the saga. Rocky to me is very important. I think in my career, Rocky is one of the characters to inspire a lot me, because he's one guy with only one opportunity. He take that opportunity and he become a legend. I always say when I get my opportunity, I need to be Rocky Balboa. I need to take that opportunity and become a legend.
Definitely, man. Yeah, no, that's a great one to draw from. I like that. That's cool. Favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show? Wow. Prison Break.
Oh, really? Oh, that's high on my list as well. I absolutely love Prison Break.
You know what? When I am here, I study more. Okay, wrestlers, I study a lot, but in some moments of my life, I study fictional characters, no wrestling. And for example, I am very heel, and when I see Prison Break, I remember the face that You remember that guy? Oh, what is the name? T-Bag.
Teabag? Yeah. Yeah.
T-Bag. The faces
Yeah.
he puts. I try when I have matches to see the crown with that face. It's very. I try to
That's a
study.
great idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you do, because one face I remember he used to do, remember he would do the thing with his tongue where he would kind of
Yeah,
put it
yeah.
between his teeth sideways. Would you, is that something that you do actually in your matches?
Yes, yes. When you see the crown with yes, you try to take a lot of wrestlers and from movies or television. When I see a good character in television, I try to see a lot the way he moves, the way he see. I try to, yes.
Oh, that's a great idea. I mean, I remember, I think it was Chris Jericho talking about he based the heel part of his character on the bad guy character in No Country for Old Men. Javier Bardem played him, and there's a few other guys. Sid Vicious used to take stuff from Hannibal Lecter as well, like, you know. So that's a really good idea to take stuff from all kinds of characters from TV and everything. So that's really smart.
Thank you, thank you.
Definitely. And talk about we kind of touched on it already, but who would you say, either somebody that you've worked with or somebody personally, who would you say is the best or the biggest influence on your career so far?
I think I have a very big feud or rival with one guy here in Chile. His name is Rocket. Rocket is a good friend of me, and we have a very good story. We are the typical, very similar to the story of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, you know. We are the friends.
Oh, wow.
I always lose. He always wins. In one moment, I am very frustrated. He wins the champion. And when I hug him, I hit and I become the big villain of that history. That history, I think, is 2 years, maybe. No, 1 year of feud, and I think it's one of my important rivalities of pro wrestling. One of my big stories. In that story, I become the CNL champion. He used mask. And I don't know who is playing, but I unmasked him in the match and I win. And the crown hates me a lot. I think he's a good friend, and my career is very influenced for that history.
Wow. And final question: if you had to work with a wrestler that's no longer around anymore, whether they're retired or somebody that's not around anymore, who would that be? The ultimate kind of dream opponent?
Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne. Stupid question.
No, Dwayne or Kringle, but I think more The Rock because he's my hero, you know. I think I like to have a match with The Rock, but I am the heel and The Rock face. I think that was awesome. That'd be awesome.
Awesome, man. So, just before we wrap up, anything you wanted to say? Want to say to the fans out there, and remind everybody again about your social medias and your YouTube channel.
No, in first time, thank you to you. Thank you to Pro Wrestling Definite to invite me. I love this interview. It's my first interview in English. I am a little nervous because I know I need to continue practice English, but this interview motivates me a lot to continue working in that language. To one day maybe we can have another interview and I talk perfectly.
Absolutely.
I want to that in a few years. No, I think if one young guy see this interview, dream for your dreams. O sea, fight for your dreams. Sorry, fight for your dreams. I always say the life is only one. You need to enjoy it because the life is too short. Try to enjoy. Try to fight for your dreams, and I made that. And thank you for all the people to see this interview. I promise the next interview my English is better. And thank you. I love it. I love it. This interview.
Awesome. It's been great talking to you, and don't worry about your English. Your English has been great. I've really enjoyed this, man, and I wish you nothing but the best in your career going forward. I think it's only a matter of time before you're on the big shows in the States, and you'll be on all of our TV screens over here. So all the best going forward, man. Thanks so much for coming on. I've really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into Pro Wrestling Defined on YouTube. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the YouTube channel to keep up with all future content. And please follow Pro Wrestling Defined on Twitter, Instagram, and like us on Facebook.